If I have to describe how a typical day looked like during my PhD, I would say that it was an endless to-do list. It had zero structure, and I was feeling that nothing would ever be done. This would be my typical day, like exhaustion, lack of structure, zero progress, endless to-do list, and this is like how it would look like day after day after day after day. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that because I think it's very important to normalize this feeling of being lost during your PhD and not being quite sure what are your next steps and where your research is even going. So I want to talk a little bit more about that because that was my experience before I started taking some steps that I will explain later in order how to make sure it doesn't happen to you. And this is the experience, most importantly, I would say, of 99% of the PhD students that I work with and 99% of the PhD students that I actually met throughout my career. So there are several reasons why this lack of structure and endless to-do list things happen. And one of the reasons is because of the nature of research. Like research always expands, which means that your to-do list will always expand. The thing is that whenever you answer one question, 5 more pop up, and then you answer one more and 5 more pop up, and so on and so on. So it sort of expands forever because you can always ask why. So this is one reason. And the other reason the to-do list expands is, and that if we feel exhausted from it, because the to-do list expands, but we are not able to check things off. And we are not able to check things off because we are not putting structure in our work. And this is why I want to talk about this today and the importance of putting some order into the chaos and how this is going to buy you not only peace of mind and peace of mind and peace of heart, but also time and energy to actually pursue the work that you have to without burning out in the process. So when I said that you have to bring structure to your work, what does that actually mean? That means that when you are thinking of your to-do list, you are not thinking of things that are vague and not well defined. For example, figure out something, or finish the experiment, or fix the model. Like all of those things are very vague and they can take weeks, months, or even years to solve. So if you are not taking things off of your to-do list and you are adding more, it makes sense that it's sort of at some point you will feel overwhelmed and like frustrated because okay, I need to make sure something keeps moving because otherwise I'm never going to be done. So a good way of defining your tasks and putting structure in your work is to be very, very specific and intentional with the steps that you have to achieve that day. And the most important thing is those steps have to be, first of all, very specific, and second of all, they have to be doable and completable. What's something that I call with my clients completable. Like you have to be able to complete a task. Maybe not all of them. Maybe sometimes it's not going to be very clear how can I turn a vague task into something that is doable and very specific and completable, but you have to attempt to do so because this is where your peace of mind lives. Specifically, an example of that would be, instead of saying figure something out, you say, I'm going to read 3 papers that talk about this and this and this. And this is something that is in your control and is sort of a middle step towards the figuring it out, but is something that you can put on your to-do list and then cross it off because you can achieve it. For example, not finish the paper or finish the introduction of the thesis. This is also very, very vague because what does it mean finish the introduction of the thesis? It can take months to do so. But what you can do is say instead, today I want to finish paragraph 1 of chapter 2. This is something that is very, very tangible and doable, and then you know that when you completed it, you can feel that sense of satisfaction of making sure that you are actually moving a step closer. This is just one of the strategies that I apply in my coaching with my clients. So if you are in that stage of your PhD in which you are feeling completely lost, in which you don't know actually how to move forward, what are some of the tasks that you should do in order to get closer to that finish line, I want to invite you to schedule a completely free intro coaching call with me. I will leave a link down below in the description where you can do so. And in that call, we can discuss exactly where you're at with your research, what are some current struggles and challenges that you're facing, and establish the exact next steps you should take in order to get closer to that submission or finishing that thesis with my help and support or on your own. So I hope that you found this video useful, and as always, see you in the next few days with another video. Bye bye.